People say overstocking either saves tanks or destroys them. Both are true. What they don't tell you is this: overstocking doesn't fix aggression, it hides it. And that's exactly why most people get it wrong. Most tanks don't fail loudly, they fail quietly. And in this video, I'm going to show you the signs you're probably missing, how to tell when overstocking is helping, when it's silently hurting, and the exact behaviors that predict stunting long before fish start dying. I learned this the slow way, not from forums or videos, but from watching a tank fall apart in front of me. The first time I tried overstocking, I wasn't trying to be clever. I was trying to stop a tank from tearing itself apart. I had one dominant fish terrorizing everyone else. Constant chasing, nobody eating properly. So I added more fish, and something strange happened. The aggression spread out, the tank went quiet. Feeding looked smoother, colors popped. For a moment it felt like a miracle. But here's the part nobody tells you. That miracle phase is borrowed time. Overstocking doesn't remove pressure, it redistributes it. And what you do with that borrowed time decides everything. At first it looks like peace. Less chasing, less visible fighting. But it isn't peace, it's shared stress. Instead of one fish carrying all the pressure, now everyone carries a little. And if you don't actively manage the system, that pressure starts showing up in quieter ways. Growth stalls, bodies stay narrow, fish eat, but nothing builds anymore. And that's when you realize the tank never healed. It just went quiet. I've watched this happen more times than I can count. Tanks don't usually explode when this goes wrong. They quietly decline. This is where most people lose fish without realizing it. Not because overstocking is evil, but because crowded and controlled are not the same thing. Crowded just means more fish. When I say controlled, I mean I'm watching feeding every day. I'm adjusting flow before fish tell me there's a problem. I'm changing water because bodies look tight, not because test kits say so. I'm breaking sight lines on purpose. I'm matching sizes before pressure builds. Miss any one of those and overstocking turns from tool into trap. Let's start where the truth always shows up first. Feeding. Stop asking, did they eat? And start asking, how did they eat? Here are 3 feeding behaviors that predict stunting. First, hesitation. Does the smaller fish enter the feeding lane confidently or grab and flee? Second, position. Does it stay in the main feeding zone or circle the edges, waiting for chaos to end? Third, order. Who arrives first every single time? Because the fish that eats calmly grows. The fish that eats like it's stealing doesn't. Equal food in the water does not mean equal access. Equal access means weaker fish can enter the feeding zone without fear. If one fish always arrives second, that fish grows second. If one fish always backs out, that fish falls behind. Overstocked tanks only work when feeding is spread, frequent, and calm enough that no single fish controls the lane. Next pressure, oxygen. And this is where people confuse filtration with breathing. A powerful filter doesn't guarantee oxygen. Fish don't grow while they're stressed. They grow when they finally get a chance to recover. And most of that recovery happens at night. Lights go off. Plants stop producing oxygen. Bacteria keep consuming it. If your surface is still, oxygen drops even if nobody's gasping. That's when digestion slows. That's when stress hormones stay elevated. That's when bodies stop building. You can have fish eating aggressively all day and staying thin because the engine isn't running right. Real surface movement matters. Real flow matters. Not bubbles for decoration. Then there's waste pressure. Overstocking increases output. More fish means more waste, more dissolved organics, more invisible load on the system. Your test kit might say everything's fine, but fish don't respond to numbers. They respond to water freshness. Breeders don't grow fish with magic pellets, they grow fish with hoses. Fresh water tells the body it's safe to invest in growth. Small, rare water changes don't crash tanks. They just quietly stall progress. Your water isn't dirty, it's tired. Then there's line of sight. In tanks where everyone sees everyone, aggression never resets. Fish are always on. You don't need beautiful aquascaping. You need visual breaks, rock piles, tall stacks, even equipment placed strategically. Anything that creates small safe zones. Fish grow when they feel like they own space. I didn't fully understand this until I lost my best male. Not from fighting, but from silent pressure I didn't recognize in time. I almost quit the hobby that week. Size mismatch makes everything worse. Overstocking works best when fish are close in size. Drop one much larger fish into a group of smaller ones, and you've created a permanent pressure source. That big fish doesn't need to chase. Its presence alone changes behavior. Smaller fish start yielding space before anything even happens. That's silent dominance, and it kills growth. species temperament matters too. Some fish tolerate crowding, some don't. Some handle social noise. Others internalize it. You can't overstock peacocks the same way you overstock mbuna and expect the same outcome. And here's another trap: color. I've had tanks that looked incredible on camera and underperformed in real life. Bright colors don't mean healthy growth. I've seen stunning tanks with narrow bodies and stalled fish because everything looked good on the surface while pressure was building underneath. Overstocking can speed up growth when it's done right. Less focused aggression, less isolation, more consistent feeding rhythm. That part is real, but it's temporary unless the system is controlled. Without oxygen management, without aggressive water changes, without managed feeding, without visual breaks, all you've done is delay the problem. That miracle phase fades, and when it fades, tanks don't usually explode. They quietly decline. Fish eat but don't thicken. Colors stay bright but bodies stay small. You think things are stable because nobody is dying. Meanwhile, stunting is setting in. Overstocking isn't a solution, it's a tool. Used carelessly, it destroys tanks silently. Used with control, it can stabilize systems and accelerate growth. Management decides everything. Let me tie this back to the beginning. That miracle phase, it's borrowed time. What you do with it decides everything. Some keepers stop once the chasing slows. Experienced keepers start working when things calm down. They watch feeding order. They notice posture shifts. They feel when a tank gets quiet, and they act while things are still fixable. So here's how I judge my own tanks now. Not by color, not by aggression alone. I watch who enters feeding first. I watch who hesitates. I watch resting behavior at night. I track body thickness over weeks, not days. That's how you catch stunting before it becomes permanent. Next time, I'll show you the flip side, how tanks lie, how everything can look fine while pressure is building underneath. If you want that, tell me in the comments what happened the last time you added more fish. Did growth improve? Did bodies stay narrow? Did feeding change? Drop it below. Because once you learn to read these patterns, fish keeping stops feeling random and starts feeling honest. And if you care about what lives behind the colors, subscribe to Dark Cichlids. Here, we don't just keep fish, we learn from them. We respect the fish, we respect the hobby, and most of all, we respect your time. Every minute you spend here helps keep this passion alive. If you want to go deeper, click the video in the top right corner right now. That's where I break down why African cichlids stop growing. Not theory, not forum talk, but real behavior inside real tanks. Watch that next and you'll understand what they eat but don't build really means. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Maybe that's why we love them. Because even behind aggression, stress, and struggle, there's still something we can't stop admiring. Click the video on the right top corner and I'll meet you there.